Picking lamandra grass was one of the ways this First Nations mother connected her daughter with their shared culture.
She loves collecting she oaks and leaves and sticks and pulling up lamandra leaves with me.
But on Christmas Day, the 2-year-old was flown out of the country after an Australian court ruled she must return to Europe with her father under the Hague Convention.
A First Nations child must have access to country and community and culture. All these things have now been ripped from her.
The mother, who cannot be identified for legal reasons, says she never intended to give birth outside Australia and left Europe when their daughter was 7 months old to escape domestic violence, allegations the father denies.
I don't know exactly where she is, but I know that she's not thriving.
These are the last moments they spent together.
I want my mommy. I want you. I want you.
The Hague Convention is an international treaty designed to prevent child abduction. Under the law, judges are compelled to return children to the country they grew up in. But data shows around 3/4 of cases brought under the Hague Convention are against mothers, almost all of whom say they are fleeing domestic violence.
The Hague Convention is actually being weaponised against these women.
We have changed through legislation. Courts can and should take into account issues like domestic violence.
The changes, which cannot be applied retrospectively, mean the courts can consider domestic violence before making a return order, but it's not mandatory. Experts say the government should have strengthened the wording of the legislation and looked at provisions for First Nations children, given no Indigenous Australians are signatories to the treaty.
I think it's a continuation of the stolen generation, because they're taking First Nations children from their First Nations mothers. The government's not giving any serious consideration to the rights of First Nations children.
Now this mother is preparing to return to the foreign country she fled to try and contest custody of her child. Dana Morse, ABC News, Canberra.